keep our eye line parallel. We now rack dry the hair around the head. We do not section with the clips when we blow dry, as this would hinder our flow of the rack dry. We simply dry the roots first, gently patting the bottom hair so the area. We take diagonal sections as we straighten. We angle our straighteners in the same angle as our diagonal section we have taken, to make sure we get an even heel of straightness on the hair. The comb and the straightener are held in the same hand, so our other hand is free, so we can use our thumb on that free hand to hold the hair out the way we don't want, so we have a clear view and are able to pick the hair to be straightened up cleanly and quickly. Our thumb is holding the hair out the way we don't need, so there's no need for clips. This method of ironing will seem a little strange and awkward on your first attempts. However, a little coaching, a little practice, a little perseverance, and you will find yourself not only flying with the head up and taking our first section from the occipital bone, will leave a little graduation once the hair is dry, which will need to be trimmed off. This is a small price to pay for the length we want it, and perfect balance. We unclip the sides, wetting the partings to merge back hair with the side hair, and we continue with our rack dry. We simply dry the roots first, gently brushing the hair from side to side, so the hair will lay naturally with no root lift, which will make our job of connecting the sides. Using the back of our hand to gently steady the hair whilst we comb. The comb is only used conventionally at the very end to cross-check our line, but fundamentally the line is worked in with the hair combed in its natural form. Tender, loving care is needed to work your bob line in beautifully. So there is no stop and start from the back to the sides. The line flows from the back to the front seamlessly, an invisible blend. Once we are happy that our bob line is perfect, double check with the mirror placed underneath the bob line, checking there is no graduation anywhere. Wet the sides, especially around them partings. Rack dry and straight with no root lift. Horizontal sections, follow your back cutting lines into the front, freehand cutting, and check your balance using your cut. We then release the triangle section at the front and wetting down the partings. Take a horizontal section with our body firmly at the front of the head. Comb the middle of the hair of the section down and place your horizontal fingers onto the bridge of the nose, the place where any glasses would normally sit. Then cut a line with your scissors going into the hair at a 45-degree angle. So we keep a heavy line but a textured frayed line. We then move on to the front sections either side of the middle section we've just cut, keeping our fingers horizontal and pointing directly to the sides of us. If we are vigilant with our fingers being horizontal and with our body firmly at the front, we will create perfect balance instantly, and the square line will create a rounded fringe due to the round of the head. We take 3 sections when cutting the fringe. All these sections taken horizontally, with our body always directly in the front. Just imagine your feet were nailed to the floor. Don't move them, with our fingers always pointing directly to the sides of us. To double check, we comb the hair with the comb horizontal. Because we have meticulously created a perfectly balanced bob line at the back, we now have a clear direction to cut from the back into the front sides. We comb the hair in its natural fall and simply cut without any comb and connect the line from the back to the sides. The ear is now not causing us any problems because of the thickness and the weight of the section we have taken. We then cut the section above into the line below, polishing the line using our combing the hair conventionally just to double check our line. We do exactly the same on the other side with the inside out method. Once the one length above haircut is absolutely nailed, then we can blow the roof off the house with our creative dressing, knowing in the back of our minds that a haircut will always fall beautifully, even if left to dry naturally, which is always the sign of a great haircut, and will always bring clients back for more. When we cut the line from the back to the sides, we are only using our comb to comb the hair gently into a natural fall, using the back of our hand to gently steady the hair whilst we cut. The comb is only used conventionally at the very end to cross-check our line, but fundamentally the line is worked in with the hair combed in its natural fall. Tender, loving care is needed to work your bob line in beautifully, so there is no stop and start from the back to the sides. The line flows from the back to the front seamlessly, an invisible length. Once we are happy that our bob line is perfect, double check with the mirror placed underneath the bob line, checking there is no graduation anywhere. Wet the sides, especially around in partings. Wrap dry and straight with no root lift. Horizontal sections, follow your back cutting lines into the front, freehand cutting, and check your balance using your comb. We then release the triangle section at the front and wetting down the partings. Take a horizontal section with our body firmly at the front of the head. Comb the middle of the hair of the section down and place your horizontal fingers onto the bridge of the nose, the place where any glasses would normally sit. Then cut a line with your scissors going into the hair at a 45-degree angle. So we keep a heavy line but a textured frayed line. We then move on to the front sections either side of the middle section we've just cut, keeping our fingers horizontal and pointing directly to the sides of us. If we are vigilant with our fingers being horizontal and with our body firmly at the front, we will create perfect balance instantly, and the square line will create a rounded fringe due to the round of the head. We take 3 sections when cutting the fringe. All these sections taken horizontally, with with our body always directly in the front. Just imagine your feet were nailed to the floor. Don't move them, with our fingers always pointing directly to the sides of us. To double check, we comb the hair with the comb horizontally, pointing and polishing our square line, making sure we are perfectly balanced. We wet the cutting sections down, especially around the parties. 3 sections, comb the hair down square and horizontal, point cut the line on the bridge of the nose at a 45-degree angle. We then unwind our bumps on our 2 top side sections and wet down the partings and begin to wrap dry. We simply dry the roots first, gently brushing the hair from side to side, concentrating on creating natural root lip and direction, which will make our job of joining the 2 sides to the underneath an absolute doddle. We take diagonal sections as we straighten, putting only a slight natural bend into the ends of the hair. We angle our straighteners the same angle as our diagonal section taper, to make sure we get even heat and straightness on the hair. The comb and straightener are held in the same hand, so our other hand is free, so we can use our thumb on our free hand to hold the hair we don't need out of the way. So we have a clear view and are able to pick the hair to be straightened up cleanly and easily. Only transferring the comb to our other hand just before we straighten, just like when we cut. We refine the fringe line with the points of our scissors. This is where our vigilant horizontal finger angle pays off, and there's only dust to take off and a beautiful rounded balanced fringe. The 2 top side sections are divided horizontally into 2 if the hair is thick, but all that's really important is we should now clearly see the bob line on the underneath. Comb the hair in its natural form, using the non-toothed side of the comb just to steady the hair as we connect the top sections into the bottom sides, with our eye line parallel to the line we are cutting, using the inside-out method to secure our balance on both sides. Wet your cutting sections, wrap dry and straighten both of them and the fronts. Cut from the inside out, hair in natural form, and follow your horizontal underneath guide. Once all the roots are dry, with even root lip and direction, we gently smooth out the mid-lengths and ends, which should now be nearly dry. Being conscious not to lift and disturb the roots we have so carefully dried naturally. We take diagonal sections as we straighten, putting only a slight natural bend into the ends of the hair. We angle our straighteners the same angle as our diagonal section taken. We are on the last furlong. This is where we need to keep focused with our inside-out method, eye line parallel to the back line we are cutting. Slowly, gently, no tension, no over direction, no elevation, just a simple, natural form. Using our comb conventionally, but very gently, we connect the top crown section to the back line. Let's have our last head check. Wet your partings, wrap dry and straighten, cut it from the inside out, hair in its natural form, and use your previously cut section as your guide. A little bit of least stack spray shine just for that added quality, and there you go. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, with 1 length above. AK diagonal sections as we straighten, putting only a slight. All these sections taken normally sit. To cross-check our line, but fundamentally the line is worked in with the hair comb in its natural form. Tender, loving care is needed to work your bob line in beautifully. So there is no stop and start from the back to the sides. The line flow angles from the back to the front seamlessly, an invisible link. Once we are happy that our bob line is perfect, double check with the mirror placed underneath the bob line. Checking there is no graduation anywhere. Wet the sub. Especially around in parties. Wrap dry and straight with no root lift. Horizontal set. Follow your back cutting lines into the front. We take 3 sections when cutting the fringe. All these sections take 2 top side sections and the square line will keep a heavy line, take up horizontal